Here we go. This is why men in their prime years in the West, in the United States, or I guess in the West, are leaving the workforce. They're no longer interested in working because I've been seeing all the videos. Yeah, I mean it even made the news. Like men are just not interested in going to bat for this society. Trying to keep this society going and keep it functioning and all and working and this is why. And you always have these rich people on the news and these news anchors um, just speaking garbage about the situation, and a whole bunch of women online and middle age, not middle age, but older men, and just speaking on the situation, have it all wrong. Like, listen, men men are logical beings. Men are logical beings. We, you know what I'm saying? We think things out. We measure our options and we brainstorm and we figure out, what's the best steps to take at different points in time. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, a lot of men looked up and thought to themselves, like, I mean, it really is that this country, the U.S. doesn't give men anything to work for anymore, man. It's like what are you working for? Like men run off. See, I used to go off three things that men run off, and that's loyalty, honor, and respect. But I'm gonna have to add one more. It's four things that men operate off that keeps us churning, that keeps our motor, running. Is loyalty, honor, respect, and motivation. And another one. I'm gonna have to change that to five on the fly. That's how I do. Loyalty, honor, respect, motivation, and appreciation. I mean, and you know what I'm saying? The narrative these days in modern society. And this narrative just kept rising and rising and rising until this narrative is just redlining right now. They won't scale back on this narrative. They won't backtrack. They won't the higher ups, the powers that be, the media, entertainment, everything, music. They just won't scale back and they won't backtrack and they won't admit that they were wrong about the villain narrative. Men being the villain. That's the narrative, is men being the villain. And women are sugar and spice and everything nice. And men are just getting fed up. You know, men men, contrary to popular beliefs, throughout this country, even back in the days before I was born in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, um, men, they didn't, you know what I'm saying? It I know it's a narrative of they had it better back then. You know what I'm saying? It was something to fight for. Not for black people. You know what I'm saying? Black people had always been a struggle from slavery to Jim Crow to now. But I'm talking about white Americans, white American men, because this isn't a story. This isn't a video about race or anything like that. It's just putting the facts into perspective. White American men always had something to fight for back in those days. That's what I meant to say about the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Because it was set up where, you know, everything was set up for you. You had you grow up in a decent neighborhood, mom and dad in the house, you can when you graduate high school, you have family members that work at a factory or have a business. They give you a job. You get wife, um, a wife that's then there was no social media, so once you got a wife, all she saw was you. The the narrative, society as a whole held women to a standard to where you'll be shamed if you do certain things. So marriages lasted because women run off the popular narrative. Whatever the popular narrative is, they're going to do. Can't blame women. Whatever the popular narrative is, they're going to do. And people high up who control media and everything in the government and everything that comes down through TV and media, entertainment, and the narrative as a whole, they know these things. They know that women run off the popular narrative. So they changed the popular narrative to wife, kid, husband, picket fence, house, dad works at a factory, moms take care of the home, kids go to school, and the nuclear family in it was a rotating, well-oiled machine that just kept pumping out citizens that, whether right or wrong, because some people will think that, this society was already broken because working people to the fingers to the bone or whatever. But it's just men don't have anything to be proud of anymore because that's over. Social media, feminism, social media, the implementation of hormonal birth control and the A word, adore. I'm gonna use a D. Adore. It rhymes with endorphin, and that ain't even a word. But you get what I'm saying? All that came into play that made women go take another take another route. And it's not their fault. Women have to go with the popular narrative. It's wired in their brains to whatever higher up people and popular people and people with power and their peers that are popular and everything, whatever they're doing, that women are going to get in line with. That's the way it goes. Back in the day, they had a husband who kept that in the rap. They had a narrative. They had a society. They had shame. They kept all that under wraps. And men just don't have anything to be proud of because social media and all that stuff that I mentioned just took all that out. All of that is out of the equation. Now it's all about extravagant life that women want to have, this extravagant life, this luxurious life of traveling and going out buying whatever they want and just partying all the time. They'll work and they'll take that life, that popular life that they see on social media and on Love and Hip Hop and everything. They'll take that popular life no matter how they can get it. It doesn't matter whether if they can get a rich husband to give them that life, or whether they're gonna work and go to school and college and get that bag themselves. They're gonna get that life, or whether they're gonna just borrow money, get credit cards and anything, whatever it takes to have what they see on social media, on Love and Hip Hop, whatever the narrative, they're gonna have it. You see women out here they're working a fast food job, but they have a car with a $1,000 car note. You know what I'm saying? That might happen again, so you know what I'm saying? Dealing with the lighting in the car. And you see what I'm saying? They might have a $1,000 car note and they're working a fast food job. They're working at Home Depot or what, you see what I'm saying? Just to have that nice car to show off on social media. and then run up a credit card when if they're off on Saturday and Sunday, party. So they're going to need money, so they'll run up a credit card to party or go on a trip or when they're off of work. So you see what I'm saying? But and where I'm going with this, why men are leaving the workforce, is because the last thing the women do, the women are not even interested in these days, is getting involved with a man in the workforce because you're not going to have that type of lifestyle with a man in the workforce, because he's making $45,000, $50,000 a year. All he can do is take care of the home, pay the bills, and they're squeezing this inflation so much that family won't even have enough money for one vacation. So, and you know what I'm saying? And another reason men don't have a great country to fight for. You know what I'm saying? Patriotism. Men are hardwired. That's why you see the gangs and people, a bunch of men get together and they throw up the same flag and they fight for it and they die for it. And they, see what I'm saying? Men don't want to, we've been crushed for so long with this villain narrative. Men, it's always the man's fault. Men are always the bad guy. We don't have this great country that we're fighting for anymore. That's why a certain presidential candidate, they know these things. So that's why his motto, his slogan is "Make America Great Again," because America is nothing for men to fight for anymore. If there was a war, men don't want to fight for this war, for this country anymore. I mean, and you know what I'm saying? What men have done is backed away and became minimalist, because the narrative, the way women, the popular narrative in social media and in Love and Hip Hop and everywhere you see is this extravagant lifestyle of traveling and girls' nights out and doing this and partying and this and that. Men are uninterested in that. The only reason men were deeply involved in this back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, the nightlife and all that stuff, is because that was a conduit, that was a pipeline to actually find your wife and get women and interact with women. And women were reciprocal. You know what I'm saying? They reciprocated to men when being approached back in those days, and there was spoils to that lifestyle for men. So a man can got off from work from a factory job, go out and hook up with them a girl that maybe he can have a future with, or what, you see what I'm saying? It's just men have become minimalist, because if there are no spoils to this, to doing all these things and boosting the economy and all, men are like, hey, I'm good with my apartment, my studio apartment, mattress, one TV, PlayStation 5. I don't need I don't care what nobody think about me. I can do a gig job, have just enough money to pay my rent, and go out and have a beer with the guys and to a sports bar to watch the game every now and then, or group up, play the video game, and I'm out of this. Men have backed away. The economy is falling, and the higher ups in this country don't want to say, the last thing they want to do is come to the table, come on TV, the president or anybody, come on TV, come to the platform and say, we were wrong, men aren't the villain, men, we need to get nuclear families back together, and they won't do it. And so men are backing away, and the economy is falling, this whole thing is falling. We don't know what. So that's the reason why men backed away from the workforce. Nobody's blaming women, because it's poor leadership. This video might just end abruptly. I'm still going to upload it. So I'm going to say it before this video drops, because it's running long. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe to Logical Life Perspectives. But everything's falling, and men are like, becoming minimalist, and we're not boosting the economy. We don't want to fight for this country. We don't want to. And it would take for the higher ups in this country, who's ever in charge, because I don't think it's the president, who's ever in charge, to send the memo down that we need men back. But the way the borders are wide open, it seems like they're trying to replace men with other men, with men who are more subservient. With, you see what I'm saying? It's scary times, man. It's scary times. So we don't know what the future is going to hold. But I remember helping my son with some homework, and back in the day when the government wasn't doing what the men liked, we had malcontents, and they came up against the government, not in like a takeover or anything, but they voiced that like we're malcontent, we're not content with what's going on. So, and you could have talked to the higher ups in the government to get things changed. It's not that way now. It seems like those days are gone. The Constitution, where the people run the country and the officials serve the people, the government serves the people, those days are gone. Men are minimalists. They're pulling back from society, and they're basically trying to build up enough money, a war chest, to probably take it overseas and leave this thing alone. But this video is going long, and that's why men just left the workforce and really leaving this system altogether. And we don't know what the future holds. But y'all like, comment, subscribe. Logical Life Perspective.